Oh! Tales of Iron, produced by underground indie developer Oddbug Studio in 2021, brings you the story of Redgi, the prince of the rat kingdom underneath the forest. Now, Redgi is a formidable prince who needs to rebuild his civilization after his father is taken by the Frog Kingdom and is assassinated. So it's up to Redgi to come in and build the pieces back together. The first thing I wanted to bring up about this game is the beautiful art style. As you can see, it has an incredible shading effect of light and shadow and chiaroscuro effects thrown in. That's definitely the most impressive feature of this game and studio is the visual style, how it looks and everything. It definitely sucks you in, especially in a world that's so minimalist as this one. I really enjoy how the pacing is slow enough that you really get to just hang out with characters, and they have little rat voices that they have. They don't actually speak, but there is a narrator over it like it's a fairy tale. That's very nice. But then when you actually get into battle, it's something of a formidable foe. Let's talk for a minute about how the game is laid out. Now, I mentioned before that it has that small vibe, kind of similar to The Secret of Arrietty or The Borrowers, the Studio Ghibli project, showing a world where you are a smaller being walking around, or even Ratatouille, if you will. But let's look at the overview map and how the game progresses. So there's a couple areas that you go in between. There's the castle, the fort, the village, and the town. So between all three of those, you actually go back and forth quite a bit between the three. And unfortunately, it doesn't give you much of an option to expand the map on, so you're basically just doing all these little quests for people in town and helping out to try to get through the game and upgrading your items as you go through the village. I would say that most of the new items that you come across are typically better than what you currently have, so you just typically just upgrade exactly what you need. There are frog, mole, grub resistant weapons, and those are obviously a lot better to have on specifically for certain enemies. There's also the cooking area, which you can use to upgrade your health bar. And the blacksmith, of course, like in every other game, upgrading and getting new swords for yourself. I didn't notice too much of a difference between the swords and the axes and spears versus any other weapon. They seem to do almost the same amount of damage. So it's really just about getting good at rolling and defending yourself correctly. When it comes to rebuilding the town and getting money to build everything back up for your castle and its citizens, there's one word that comes to mind for all these side quests, and that is repetitive. So yes, there is actually combat in this game, if you believe it or not, and it's mainly versus the Frog Clan. So you have a heavy attack with a big axe, and then you have a side swipe with a short sword or a spear. So you're able to, either come at enemies incredibly hard or just hit them as many times as you possibly can. Some people make comparisons to this combat style with Dark Souls somehow, or that it's like a very difficult combat. I don't really see that. I can see where people are saying that makes sense because there's a lot of rolling and timing out parries in this game. There are yellow marks that come up on the enemies that show when you can parry one of their attacks. But really what I find is that most enemies use unblockables with the red that come out, and it's very difficult to get by because these enemies have a ton of tracking on them. So even if you roll around them or get through, you're going to find yourself backed into a corner. Then you're going to be using all of your bug juice health pretty much throughout every fight that you get into. It doesn't replenish that quickly. You do have to pick up that bug juice off of dead enemies or in a cabin. But really what I would have loved to see would have been a health bar or meter, some kind of indication of the enemy health. There really is none of that, and the slight adjustments that you make on the weapons don't really count for much. So it kind of seems like these battles go on and on forever. The boss battles are even more of an example of this, just because they do have a health meter, but it's very long and the damage that you do is not very good. I was kind of disappointed with these, primarily because you finally get somewhere in the game, and it's taken me quite a while just to get even to this point. A couple hours through tutorials and running through towns doing side quests just to get to an actual area of the game where you can fight a big boss. And then you just get slammed. And I understand that, like, as a combat-based game that's trying to be like a Soulsborne, where yes, you need to learn their moves and you need to be on your toes and be perfect with parries and all that. It just doesn't really fit the aesthetic of the game, because when you're thinking about it, you're like, oh, this is a nice little rat colony game in a minimalist world. It's so cute and everything. And then when you get into combat, it actually just kicks your ass. I mean, really, these guys just don't fuck around. Blocky Magu, captain of the Swamp Slayers. This is like the main boss of the Frog Clan in the beginning, early parts of the game. And I will say again, the environment is great. The sound direction is fantastic. You can see these little frog dudes in the background drumming hard. And it does give you this sense of excitement when you actually get to take somebody down. And those kills at the end, assassinations, oh, so worth it.
He had croaked his last orders.
Now, I really wanted to give this game and studio the benefit of the doubt, because this is a brand new game studio, and they've got a lot to show and prove. So the mechanics, you know, I'll give them a little bit of a pass there, because the depth perception in the background and foreground of this game is really impressive. I think that's what I like about it the most, actually. It kind of almost has that Paper Mario-esque like concert theater environment where you can see the front of the map and you're kind of peering into the story of the fairy tale as it goes on in this little story. And yeah, you're just kind of watching it as it goes, but you're also heavily a part of it in this platformer side to side.
The ominous sense of dread doesn't leave, and I wish more games had a narrator over it.
Smoke billowed from it.
And some of the levels do get a little bit better, I would say. It feels more like a dungeon crawler as you continue. Like with the map screen that we looked at previously, there wasn't really much room to expand upon. It's mainly just the dungeons in the underground that start to broaden out a bit. You do end up getting involved with a different assortment of enemies, just such as these bugs that spit stuff at you. They're actually easier once you know that you have a crossbow or something that can hit hard from a distance. So those guys aren't too big of a deal. But again, when you get through one of the bosses, and then you basically have to rinse and repeat going through these side missions to kill off all these infestations. And it just takes forever to get to those places. I really wish there was some kind of easy teleportation to get you in these areas, but there's not. Now, while I was going through these infestations, I was really pissed off when these guys came out throwing rocks at me, because they were just relentless. Like, honestly, it didn't matter what I did. If I was trying to block, if I was ready, healing up or not, they just came at you hard. And, you know, I tried upgrading a bunch of different weapons that I had and new things, but it just didn't work. And also, there's some really weird glitches in this game. Like, here's one where the bugs just don't attack you anymore, and they just kind of sit there. So that's a mistake. And then there's just some areas that you go through that there's just really nothing going on. So it's kind of annoying because you're just like, okay, I'm going to get somewhere, and it's really not. But again, like this area with the mines, very beautiful and fun to explore. There's also some areas that are kind of surprising, especially with this foreground like I mentioned before. You're not expecting things to happen, and then, boom, you're in the middle of a fight. And those kind of parts of the game were really awesome to me. I found those to be the most exciting and engaging when the environment was kind of putting you in this uneasy setting and you found yourself kind of just scratching and surviving like a rat would. I think they got that down pretty damn well.
Strange clan of white rats,
except for the voice
but no,
narration's kind of bad sometimes.
they had been his own clan when they had lived.
So for my ranking this time around, there's kind of a lot to consider. I do really like the fairy tale aesthetic and, building your empire back up with the Rat Kingdom. The character development's very nice. Although the map scenes and the gameplay battles are, they kind of need a lot of work. So I would give this game a broiled ranking. There's something wrong with it. It's not perfect, and it's definitely a little bit weird, but that's kind of part of the uniqueness of it, and I can't wait to see what this developer does in the future. Hey, I know what you're saying, but the platforming could have been so much better. Oh, hey, how you doing? Didn't see you guys there. Mr. Crispy here. Just want to take a quick second to go over the ranking system in our videos. Now we got crisp, of course, which is perfect texture. That's what we're looking for. Right? Now we got fried, which is very good, delicious, and it makes you want to come back for more. Not absolutely perfect, though. We have broiled, which is kind of weird, right? A little bit of weird taste to it. It's good, though. Very good. And then we have charred, which is dark and rough around the edges. And there's something, it could have been better. A little more effort could have been put into it. And then we have burnt, of course, which is just pure unedible. Now, we wanted to give a quick guideline to this because we know that our gaming appetites are all over the place these days, especially with retro games. We'd love to break it down for you, and it's a lot of fun for us to do so. We'd love to show you a little bit more videos, so stay tuned to our channel. Please like and subscribe. We'll hit you guys with some more videos, retro reviews, movies, shenanigans with Buzz and I. We're really excited to share some more content with you guys. As always, thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you next time. And don't forget, in the meantime, keep it crispy. Right?